Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Sharia Way Read Aloud live call. Today what we will be doing is reading chapter 3 in the new section, and that chapter is titled Harmony. And I also want to say that there will not be a book club exegesis episode um, from last week's Read Aloud because I was busy. And so we'll be jumping right in with chapter 3. And I'm not sure if we're going to take time to discuss chapter 2. And that's okay with me. I would rather just continue with the book than to try to scramble and consider the last chapter. So I hope that's okay with you all. But if you really, really want to discuss it, let me know. But yeah, so today we'll be reading the chapter Harmony, and I'll start off now. Harmony is the source of manifestation, the cause of his existence, and the medium between God and man. The peace for which every soul strives, and that is the true nature of God and the utmost goal of man, is but the outcome of harmony. This shows that all life's attainments without a sense of harmony are but vain. It is the attainment of harmony that is called heaven, and it is the lack of it that is termed hell. The master of harmony alone understands life, and people who lacks it are foolish in spite of all other knowledge that they may have acquired. The Sufi gives great importance to the attainment of harmony, believing that light is for the angels and darkness for the devil, but that harmony is necessary for the human being in order to keep a balance in life. There are 3 aspects of harmony: eternal, universal, and individual. Eternal harmony is the harmony of consciousness. As it is in itself eternal, all things and beings live and move in it, yet it remains remote, undisturbed, and peaceful. This is the God of the believer and the God of the knower. All vibrations, from the finest to the grossest, as well as each atom of manifestation, are held together by this harmony. Both creation and destruction take place in order to uphold it. Its power ultimately attracts each being towards the everlasting peace. People are drawn in 2 opposite directions by the power of harmony, towards the infinite and towards manifestation. They are less conscious of the former than the latter, and by facing toward one direction, people lose sight of the other. The infinite being, the essential spirit of all, finally attracts all to itself. The Sufi gives the greatest importance to harmony with the infinite, which they realize through resignation to the will of God, the beloved. The existence of land and water, the land for the water, and the water for the land, the attraction between the heavens and the earth, all demonstrate a universal harmony. The attraction of the sun and the moon to each other, the cosmic order of the stars and the planets, all connected and related with each other, moving and working under a certain law. The regular rotations of the seasons, the night following the day, and the day in its turn giving place to the night, the dependence of one thing being on another, the distinctiveness, attraction, and assimilation of the 5 elements, all prove the universal harmony. The male and female, beast and bird, vegetable, and rock, all classes of things and beings, are linked together and attracted to each other with a cord of harmony. If one being or thing, however apparently useless, were missing in this universe of endless variety, it would be as it were a note missing in a song. As Sadi says, every being is born for a certain purpose, and the light of that purpose is kindled within their soul. All famines, plagues, and disasters, such as storms, floods, volcanic eruptions, wars, and revolutions, however bad they may appear to people, are in reality for the adjustment of this universal harmony. There is a story told in India how once all the inhabitants of a village that had suffered from drought gathered together before the temple of their god, praying that for this year an abundance of rain might fall. A voice from the unseen replied, "Whatever we do is for the betterment of our purpose. Ye have no right to interfere with our work, O ye men." But they again cried for mercy and continued to do so more persistently. Then came the answer, saying, "Your prayers, fasting, and sacrifices have induced us to grant for this 1 year as much rain as ye desires." They all returned home rejoicing. In the autumn, they worked vigorously on their farms, and after having prepared the ground and sown the seed, they prayed for rain. When they considered that sufficient had fallen, they again had recourse to prayer, and the rain ceased. In this way, an ideal crop of corn was produced, and all the inhabitants of that country made merry over it. This year, more crop was grown than ever before. After the crops were gathered in, however, all those who ate the corn died, and many were the victims. In perplexity, they again sought the god, bowing low before the temple, crying, "Why hast thou shown such wrath to us, after having shown so great mercy?" The god replied, "It was not our wrath, but your folly, for interfering with our work. We sometimes send a drought, and at other times send a flood, so that a portion of your crops may be destroyed. But we have our reasons for doing so, for so doing. For in this way, all that is poisonous and undesirable in them is also destroyed, leaving only what is beneficial for the preservation of your life." The villagers prostrated themselves in humble prayer, saying, "We shall never again try to control the affairs of the universe. Thou art the creator, and thou art the controller. We are thine innocent children, and thou alone knowest what is best for us. The creator knows how to control his or her world, what to bring forth, and what to destroy." There are two aspects of individual harmony: the harmony between body and soul, the harmony between individuals. The soul rejoices in the comforts experienced by the external self, yet people become so engrossed in them that the soul's true comfort is neglected. This keeps people dissatisfied through all momentary comforts they may enjoy, but not understanding this, they attribute the cause of their dissatisfaction to some unsatisfied desire in their life. The outlet of all earthly passions gives a momentary satisfaction, yet creates a tendency for more. In this struggle, the satisfaction of the soul is overlooked by people who are constantly busied in the pursuit of their earthly enjoyment and comfort, depriving the soul of its true bliss. The true delight of the soul lies in love, harmony, and beauty, the outcome of which is wisdom, calm, and peace. The more constant they are, the greater is the satisfaction of the soul. If people in their daily life would examine every action that has reflected a disagreeable picture of themselves upon their soul, and cause darkness and dissatisfaction. And if, on the other hand, they would consciously watch each thought, word, or deed they had produced and that had produced an inward love, harmony, and beauty, and each feeling that had brought them wisdom, calm, and peace, then the way of harmony between soul and the body would be easily understood, and both aspects of life would be satisfied, the inner as well as the outer. The soul satisfaction is much more important than that of the body, for it is more lasting. In this way, the thought, speech, and action can be adjusted so that harmony may be established first in the self by the attunement of the body and the soul. The next aspect of individual harmony is practice in one's contact with another. Every being has an individual ego produced from their own illusion. This limits their views, which is led in the direction of their own interest, and if they judge or and they judge of good and bad, high or low, right or wrong in relation to themselves and others through their limited view, which is generally partial and imaginary rather than true. This darkness is caused by the overshadowing of the soul by the external self. Thus, a person becomes blind to their own infirmities as well as to the merits of another. The right action of another becomes wrong in their eyes, and the faults of the self seems right. This is the case which mankind in general, under the veil of darkness. Wait, let me reread that. This is the case with mankind or people kind in general, until the veil of darkness is lifted from their eyes. The nafs, the ego of an individual, causes all disharmony with the self as well as with others, thus showing its unruliness in all aspects of life. The lion, the sovereign among all animals, most powerful and majestic, is always unwelcome to the inhabitants of the forest, and the lion is even unfriendly to their own kind. Two lions will never greet one another in a friendly way, for their nafs is so strong. Although the lion is the ruler of all other animals, the lion is a slave to his own passions, making his or her life restless. The nafs of herbivorous animals, the nafs of herbivorous animals, such as sheep and goats, is subdued. For this reason, they are harmless to one another, and they are even harmonious enough to live in herds. The harmony and sympathy existing among them makes them mutually partake of their own joys and sorrows, but they can easily fall victim to wild animals of the forest. The masters of the past, like Moses and Muhammad, have always loved and tend to their flocks in the jungles, and like Jesus Christ spoke of himself as the Good Shepherd, while St. John the Baptist spoke of the Lamb of God, harmless and innocent, ready for sacrifice. The nafs of the bird is still milder. Therefore, upon one tree, many I'm sorry. Therefore, upon one tree, many and various kinds can live as one family, singing the praise of God in unison, flying about in flocks of thousands. Among birds are there to be found those who recognize their mate and who live together harmoniously, building the nest for their young, each in turn sitting on the eggs, bearing their part in the upbringing for their little ones. Many times they mourn and lament over the death of their mate. The nafs of the insect is still less. They walk over each other without doing any harm. They live together in millions as one family without distinction of friend or foe. I'm going to mute for a moment. Okay, thanks for waiting. The nafs of the insect is still less. They walk over each other without doing any harm and live together in millions as one family without distinction of friend or foe. This proves how the power of the nafs grows at each step in nature's evolution and culminates in people creating disharmony all through their life unless it is subdued, producing thereby a calm and peace within the self and a sense of harmony with others. Every human being has an attribute particular or peculiar to their nafs. One is tiger like, another resembles a dog, while a third might be like a cat, and the fourth like a fox. In this way, people show in their speech, thoughts, and feelings, the beasts and the birds, and the condition of their nafs is akin to their nature. At times, their very appearance resembles them. Therefore, their tendency to harmony depends upon the evolution of their nafs. As people begin to see clearly through human life, the world begins to appear as a forest to them, filled with wild animals, fighting, killing, and preying upon one another. There are four different classes of people who harmonize with each other in accordance with their different states of evolution. There are angelic, human, animal, and devilish. The angelic seeks for heaven, and the human being struggles alone along in the world. The people with animal propensities revels in their earthly pleasures, while the devilish person is engaged in creating mischief, thereby making hell for themselves and for others. People, after their human evolution, become angelic, and through their development, an animality arrives at the stage of devil. In music, the law of harmony is that the nearest note In music, the law of harmony is that the nearest note does not make a consonant interval. This explains that the prohibition of marriage between close relatives because of the nearness in merit and blood. As a rule, harmony lies in contrast. Men fight with men and women quarrel with women, but the male and female are, as a rule, harmonious with each other, and a complete oneness makes perfect harmony. In every being, the five elements are constantly working. In every individual, one especially predominates, and in every individual, one especially predominates. The wise have therefore distinguished five different natures in people according to the element predominant inside of them. Sometimes two elements or even more predominate in a human being in a greater or lesser degree. The harmony of life can be learned in the same way as the harmony of music. The ear should be trained to distinguish both tone and word, the meaning concealed within, and to know from the verbal meaning and the tone of the voice whether it is a true word or a false note, to distinguish between sarcasm and sincerity, between words spoken in jest and those spoken in earnest, to understand the difference between true admiration and flattery, to distinguish modesty from humility, a smile from a sneer, and arrogance from pride, either directly or indirectly expressed. By so doing, the ear becomes gradually trained in the same way as in music, and a person knows exactly whether their own tone and word, as well as those of another, are false or true. I'm going to take a moment to take a sip of water because I've been reading for a very long time. Okay, thank you. People should learn in what tone to express a certain thought or feeling, as in voice cultivation. There are times where they should speak loudly, and there are times when a soft tone or a voice is needed. For every word, a certain note, and for every speech of a certain pitch is necessary. A certain pitch is necessary. At the same time, there should be proper use of a natural sharp or flat tone, as well as consideration of key. There are 9 different aspects of feeling, each of which has a certain mode of expression. Mirth is expressed in a lively tone, grief expressed in a pathetic tone, fear in a broken tone, mercy in a tender tone, wonder in an exclamatory tone, courage in an empathetic tone, frivolity in a light tone, attachment in a deep tone, indifference in the voice of silence. An untrained person confuses these. They whisper the words that should be known and speak out loudly those that should be hidden. A certain subject must be spoken in a high pitch, while another requires a lower pitch. One should consider the place, the space, the number of people present, the kind of people and their evolution, and speak in accordance with the understanding of others, as it is said, speak to people in their own language. With a child, one must have a childish talk. With the young, only suitable words should be spoken. With the old, one should speak in accordance with their understanding. In the same way, there should be a graduated expression of our thoughts so that everybody may not be driven with the same whip. It is consideration for others that distinguishes people from animals. It must be understood that rhythm is the balance of speech and action. One must speak at the right time, otherwise, silence is better than speech. A word of sympathy with the grief of another, and a smile, at least, when another laughs. One should watch the opportunity for moving a subject in society and never abruptly change the subject of conversation, but skillfully blend 2 subjects with a harmonious link. Also, one should wait patiently while another speaks and keep a rein on one's speech when the thought rushes out uncontrollably in order to keep it in rhythm and under control during its outlet. One should emphasize the important words with a consideration of strong and weak accents. It is necessary to choose the right words and mode of expression to regulate the speed and to know how to keep the rhythm. Some people begin to speak slowly and gradually increase the speed to such an extent that they are unable to speak coherently. The above named rules apply to all actions in life. The Sufi, like a student of music, trains both their voice and ear in the harmony of life. The training of the voice consists in being conscientious about each word spoken, about its tone, rhythm, meaning, and the appropriateness for the occasion. For instance, the words of consolation should be spoken in slow rhythm with a soft voice and sympathetic tone. When speaking words of command, a lively rhythm is necessary and a powerful, distinct voice. The Sufi avoids all unrhythmic actions. They keep the rhythm of their speech under control of patience, not speaking a word before the right time, not giving an answer until the question is finished. They consider a contradictory word a discord unless spoken in a debate, and even at such times they try to resolve it into a consonant chord. A contradictory tendency in people finally develops into a passion until they contradict even their own idea, even if it be propounded by another. In order to keep harmony, the Sufi even modulates their speech from one key to another. In other words, they fall in with another person's idea by looking at the subject from the speaker's point of view instead of his own or their own. Sufis make a base for every conversation with an appropriate introduction, thus preparing the ears of the listener for a perfect response. Sufis watch their every moments. Sufis watch their every moments and expression, as well as those of others, trying to form a consonant chord of harmony between themselves and others. The attainment of harmony in life takes a longer time to acquire and and a more careful study than does the training of the ear and the cultivation of the voice, although it is acquired in the same manner as the knowledge of music. To the ear of the Sufi, every word spoken is like a note that is true when harmonious and false when inharmonious. They make the scale of their speech either major, minor, chromatic as occasions demand, and their words either sharp, flat, or natural, and are in accord with the law of harmony. For instance, the strange, polite, and tactful manner of speech is like their major, minor, or chromatic scale, representing dominance, respect, and equality. Similarly, Sufis take arbitrary or contrary motions to suit the time situation by following a step by step, by agreeing and differing, and even by opposing and yet keeping up the law of harmony in conversation. Take any two persons as two notes. The harmony existing between them forms intervals either consonant or dissonant, perfect or imperfect, major or minor, diminished or augmented, as two persons may be. The intervals of class, creed, caste, race, nation, or religion, as well as the interval of age or state of evolution, or of varied opposite interests, shows the law here distinctly. As a wise person would be more likely to be in harmony with their foolish servant than with the semi-wise person who considers themselves infallible. Again, it is equally possible that a wise person may, my, sorry, again, it is equally possible that a wise person may be far from happy in the society of the foolish and vice versa. The proud person will always quarrel with the proud while they support the humble. It is also possible for the proud to agree on a common question of pride, such as pride of race or birth. Sometimes the intervals between the disconnected notes is filled by a middle note forming a consonant chord. For instance, the discord between husband and wife may be removed by the link of a child, or the discord between brothers and sisters may be taken away by the intervention of the mother or father. In this way, however inharmonious two persons may be, the forming of a consonant chord by an intervening link creates harmony. A foolish person is an unpliable note, whereas an intelligent person is pliable. The former sticks to their ideas, likes, dislikes, and convictions, whether right or wrong, while the latter makes them sharp or flat by raising or lowering the tone and pitch, harmonizing with the other as the occasion demands. The keynote is always in harmony with each note, for it has all notes on the scale within it. In the same way, the Sufi harmonizes with everybody, whether good or bad, wise or foolish, by becoming like the keynote. All races, nations, classes, and people are like a strain of music based upon one chord, when the keynote and the common interest holds so many personalities in a single bond of harmony. By a study of life, the Sufi learns and practices the nature of its harmony. They establish themselves with the self, with others, with the universe, and with the infinite. They identify themselves with another. They see in they see themselves, so to speak, in every other being. They care for neither blame nor praise, considering both as coming from themselves. If a person were to drop a heavy weight and in doing so hurt their own foot, they would not blame their own hand for having dropped it, realizing themselves in both the hand and the foot. In like manner, the Sufi is tolerant when harmed by another, thinking that the harm has come from themselves alone. Sufis use counterpoint by blending the undesirable talk of the friend and making it into a fugue. Sufis overlook the faults of others, considering that they know no better. They hide the faults of others and suppress any facts that would cause disharmony. Their constant fight is with the nafs, the root of disharmony, and the only enemy of man or people. By crushing this enemy, people gain mastery over themselves. This wins them mastery over the whole universe, because the wall standing between the self and the Almighty has been broken down. Gentleness, mildness, respect, humility, modesty, self denial, conscientiousness, tolerance, and forgiveness are considered by the Sufi as the attributes that produce harmony within one's own soul, as well as within that of another. Things like arrogance, wrath, vice, attachment, greed, jealousy are the six principal sources of disharmony. Nafs, the only creator of disharmony, becomes more powerful the more it is gratified, the more it is pleased. For the time being, it shows its satisfaction at having gratified its demands, but soon after it demands still more until life becomes a burden. The wise detect this enemy as the instigator of all mischief, but everybody else blames another for their misfortunes in life. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. I'm going to go hydrate my voice now and hopefully see you all this Saturday at 8:30, or no, I'm sorry, Sunday at 8:30 p.m. Louisiana time here in the Broom Radio to tune into the breakdown of this chapter. I can sincerely say I'm looking forward to it. This was an amazing read. I might just reread it again for fun. But take care, everyone. Peace.